श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम् श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम् नवकञ्जलोचन कञ्जमुखकर कञ्जपदकञ्जारुणम् कन्दर्पगणित अमितछविनवनीलनीरज सुन्दरम् पटपीतमानहु तडितरुचिशुचि नौमि जनकसुतावरम् श्रीराम श्रीराम राम राम सिया राम श्रीराम श्रीराम राम राम सिया राम श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम् श्रीरामचन्द्र भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम् नवकञ्जलोचन कञ्जमुखकर कञ्जपदकञ्जारुणम् कन्दर्पगणित अमितछविनवनीलनीरज सुन्दरम् पटपीतमानहु तडितरुचिशुचि नौमि जनकसुतावरम् श्रीराम श्रीराम राम राम सिया राम श्रीराम श्रीराम राम राम सिया राम।
Am I audible to everyone? That's good. It's not that our life doesn't have a story. It's only that the capacity of our mind intellect to decipher that story is too little. It's not that this moment doesn't have meaning. It's just that in our upper story, in our mind intellect capacity, we don't have the ability to decipher the meaning. Our meaning is much bigger than what our mind can understand. This life is much bigger than what our mind can understand. But through the lens of the mind, we force it into a much smaller mold, which is a mold of body-mind, a mold of world. But our true life actually is much bigger, indecipherable. And that is why we can never agree on what the story is, because all of us are using different limited mechanisms. So the old, everybody makes a claim of that story, so let's call it the old Zen story of the elephant and the 7 blind or blindfolded people. What happens? Everybody is convinced about their story, isn't it? It is right because this is, I can see it like that, or I can feel it like that, I can perceive it to be this. But in reality, I don't know why both satsang, I just realizing. Last satsang also we started with the elephant, so in this satsang also the elephant, that elephant is not recognizable through the traditional limited means of knowledge, limited means of knowing. Is it? So, does that mean that that elephant is beyond our reach then? I would say, in fact, that if we haven't met that elephant using the true instrument which God has given us, then we have wasted this life. You see? Now, what compels us to go to the limited one? Conditioning, habit, but what is nurtured in that habit? Yes, but who is nurtured in that habit? Ego, exactly. So this me, what about me? What's in it for me? So in my work life, once we had a very brilliant speaker come, brilliant in worldly things. So he said that everybody in the world has just this one mantra, which is what's in it for me. Now, how many have really explored whether this me is real or not? We are chasing what's in it for me, including in satsang. We are chasing what's in it for me. I am understanding, I am able to follow, this is my path, this is not my path, this is my guru, this is not my guru. All of this me is everywhere. Is it? But who is this me? Yeah. It's not a very deep question actually. It's just rare, it's a rare question. You see? It's rare not because of its depth, it's because there is an opposing force which is compelling us not to look in this direction. You see? Wouldn't it be fundamental? You see? The minute we had the capacity to understand, the first thing we should have tried to understand is who is this me? Because that is the base construct on which everything else rests. Everything else in my life is based on this me. So shouldn't we find out first who this me is? No, that the ego, the mind, Maya, whatever you want to call it, the sense of separation, wants to keep that as a presumption. Now let's operate from that presumption onwards. Take the me to be a given. मैं तो हूँ ही. अब बताओ आगे. So the me is a given. What else now? What do you have for me? You see? But in satsang we are trying to come to the insight that this me is not actually a given. It's not a reality. It's just made up. I look at the body, I don't find a me. I look at the world, I don't find this me. I look at my thoughts, I don't find a me. I look at my emotions, I don't find this me. I look at my sense of being, there is no limited entity, character there. And that which is aware even of the sense of being is so far removed from any me-ness that we can't even imagine. So what is this all about? All of this misery, all of this suffering, whole lifetimes, billions of people grasping, trying to fill up their ego, their pride, where this me actually doesn't even exist. Does this mean that nothing exists? The one that exists is far beyond our mental and intellectual capacity. That hurts our pride. It's simple to accept, but it hurts our pride. Maybe it feels a bit better to know that there's a deeper capacity which is called Atma Gyan, which is called intuitive insight, which is called Atma Darshan, which allows us to see the reality of what we are, the reality of what God is. You see? So what is your heart telling you about yourself this moment? Now what will happen? How will you understand what the heart is saying? Many times it is beyond language, beyond words. It's what the mind says is silence. You see? Silence is not empty of intelligence, it is full of intelligence. You see? It is only the mind finds it indecipherable, so we call it silence. You crave a few moments of silence, isn't it? If you have a few moments of silence within and somebody comes and disturbs that, that's the most frustrating. You see, because we crave that. You see? If you just heard a bhajan and you're going deep within yourself and somebody puts on some rock and roll music, neighbor puts on and just disturbed, you see? You get very frustrated with that. Because we value that, we crave that. Why? If it was just a sheer nothingness, why to crave that or value that? You see? Yeah? So we call it a nothingness only because we are not able to interpret it. What is the meaning of this? You see? So to find the reality of who you are, you have to be able to sit in that stillness. Abide in that silence. You see? And not get into this constant, okay, now what about me? I sat, now what? I'm sitting, now what? So we constantly in this fluctuation, using the checking of our own spiritual progress. That won't get us anywhere. Am I free yet? Am I free yet? Just like children in the back seat of the car saying, are we there yet? Are we there yet? How will we know? Then the mind comes and makes its oppressive reports, which say, oh, but I haven't had any special experience, I haven't had what the sages say, I don't see myself in everyone, I don't see the world as one, I don't know how to recognize Nirguna Brahman, what does it even mean to be without any attribute? All of these oppressive questions can come. Or the mind can say, see, I had this experience, I had this light, I had this astral travel, I had this sense of bliss, I had this peace. Sorry, George. Very. Good. So, the mind paints these pictures of these opposite things. What do they have to do with reality? Nothing. Nothing to do with anything at all. Your idea about what this moment is has nothing to do with what this moment is. Just because our idea cannot capture even the phenomenality of this moment, but our idea definitely cannot capture the one that witnesses this moment. You see? So it's like going for a Tom Cruise movie but not seeing Tom Cruise at all. You see? You see? So then what is our appreciation of what is? What is our understanding of what is? The main character is missing. The protagonist is missing. Not only is the main character missing, we have substituted it with a very limited one. You see? So you got a caterpillar instead of Tom Cruise. And now the caterpillar is the protagonist of it. What do you feel will happen to the caterpillar when it tries to fly an aeroplane? It will struggle. It will have a miserable time, which is what the me seems to be having in the form of suffering in the world. You see, that's why Buddha ji said, suffering is a given basically. The world is suffering. Why? Because we've had this major misunderstanding about who is here. You see? So first we have to admit that we have this condition. There are so many patients who don't take the medicine prescribed because they don't feel like they have the condition anyway. You see? Now, one of the symptoms of this condition one of the symptoms of this condition is to think that a concept is knowledge. You see? So this is the main symptom, where to take a concept to be knowledge. So I am saying some blabbering away is happening from here. Your mind could be saying, but I know all this. You see? And what you mean by I know all of this is very different from what I mean by I know all of this. You see? Or what I mean by what we should know. The know is a different meaning. You see? So to spiritually know, like Gyaneshwarji said today, to spiritually know is not to have a piece of information. So if you have just a piece of information that you are Brahman, or even that God is with you, the piece of information that I am that, it is very different from the revelation that I am that. That knowledge, which is purely revelatory in nature, is self-knowledge. So, what is that which you know, which was revealed to you? Is it? What do you know which was revealed to you? Now, revelation is not in the form of, like a thought can also seem like a revelation. I didn't create it, it seems. It just appears. So, that is not the revelation which I am saying. What is that which was revealed to you beyond concepts, beyond percepts? Tell me. There are many things. There is much which is revealed to us. So let's start with something. Where should we start?
Faith is
Yeah.
revealed.
Yes.
In faith,
Yes.
that God is present with us
Yes.
without even a pratyaksh.
Yes. Yes. So faith is to rely on that which is revealed to us. Huh? Now, God is with us is a good example of what is revealed to us. You see? Now, to rely on that unshakably in faith is faith. Now, how many of us can come to this fact that the revelation of God's presence here is a reality for us? Can we testify to this fact that God is here as a revelation, not just as a thinking?
In faith,
Yes. You see? Faith is to rely on that which has been revealed. You see? That God is here, that must become our revelation. That He lives in the innermost chamber of my heart as the Atma within must become our revelation. So if you go to Dharwad and don't eat the peda, then what's the point? Correct? In the same way, if you're in spirituality but never meet spirit, you see? And let's not even say never meet spirit, let's say let's don't keep a constant intention and remembrance to meet the spirit, to yearn, to long for Atma Darshan, then are we even in spirituality? You see? If you come to satsang and you just feel that, yes, my body felt peaceful, the ambience was nice, my thoughts were not as oppressive, my emotions were sweet, and that's it. You see, then that can be considered a prerequisite or or marinating, getting ready for satsang, but to come to the company of the truth, which is the Atma within, is satsang. Yeah? So, did we join the dots? The revelation happens through the eyes of the Atma, or it is given to us through the wisdom of the Atma. We are given the eyes of the Atma, through which we are then able to see the reality. So, suppose that you want to study the nature of the galaxy. You want to find out the nature of the galaxy, the Milky Way, and what it's made up of, how big it is. But you feel like if you visit the panda at the zoo, that will tell you how. Absurd? Absurd? Not really. You see? That is the story of our lives mostly. To study the non-existent me and to obsess about the non-existent me, even in the guise of spiritual progress, wanting to find God, is less absurd than the absurd sounding example that I gave you. And this is why Maya has this constant trump card even for those who consider themselves to be spiritual seekers. It play the me card constantly. In terms of likes and dislikes, I like this, I don't like this, I was enjoying satsang, now I'm not enjoying satsang, now I am enjoying satsang. Then we keep on this roller coaster. I was like this, now I'm like that, this is what's happening to me, now this is my life. You see? How much godliness is there? How much is our focus on the reality of the self, capital S? You see? Just because someone comes and offers you something doesn't mean you buy it. Just because the mind comes and offers you things pretending to be your best friend doesn't mean that you buy it. We have to stop falling for that trick at some point. How much of the universe did you study if the panda smiled at you? Well, in a Zen way, it could be all of it. You see? Do we recognize our affliction? You see? Because it's all right. You may even say, yes, this is what afflicts all of humanity. But my judgments about my brothers and sisters, my grievances about my brothers and sisters, my attachments, my things, they are all right. They are to be kept as is. Because what is being said, it does not apply to all of that. It is just for those foolish people who are stuck on this ego. But we have the best reasoning, the best excuses, even best spiritual excuses to hold on to the our egoic nature, our egoic pride. And some things your mind has created a big defense system which says, no, this is too much, this I cannot give up. This one I cannot forgive. This one I cannot live without. Grievances, attachments, pride, resentment, anger, all of these things fester on our identity. And this constant obsession with identity keeps us away from revelation. Our obsession with the me keeps us away from any revelation. And revelation is such an intimate thing in your heart. So anyone can claim, I have had Atma Darshan. What is that? I can claim I have Atma Darshan. And as long as I get the feedback from the world, which seems to accept that fact, then many times, just like if you tell a lie often enough, it seems to become a truth. You see? So then because there is this constant, relentless goading in satsang that you must come to Atma Darshan, the mind may sometimes just offer it and say, yes, this is my state now. I have had Atma Darshan. So remember, in spirituality, winning is losing and losing is winning. More trouble, basically. So what I am trying to say is that for revelation to happen, for Atma Darshan to happen, humility is the superpower. In humility, what happens? Very difficult to have grievances, resentments. Pride, of course, is the opposite. All that afflicts us gets in the way of our remaining in stillness. All these mental belief systems, patterns that we have, all of them hardly have a room to operate. Because the mind doesn't want us to be humble. The mind loves the pride of humility. The mind loves the pride of humility, but actual humility it hates. How many of us feel like we are at least better off than 50% of the Satsang Sangha? No? 100%, whether you put your hand up or not. So there, that itself gives us the dichotomy, isn't it? That if 100% of us feel like we are at least better off than half of the ones who come in the Sangha, then where is that idea coming from? It's not just in Satsang. They did a study about driving, and 90% of people said that we are better than 50% of people at least. But in spirituality, because it's an inner journey with no outer mechanism really, then it is easy to fall into that trap. So don't consider yourself to be anything at all, as much as possible, till God graces you with His light, with His presence. So one lady came, first time she did self-inquiry, she came to recognition of who she was. Another lady, or let's say another man, both are fictional, okay? So another man came, he's been coming satsang 15 years. No revelation of who he is. That should be enough reason for that first one to lady, no? First one to become proud, isn't it? To get proud about spiritual accomplishment is like saying, I did something to make the sun rise today. And the very point of saying the word revelation is to show you that it is not our doing. Credit can be given for turning inwards, because that itself is rare. So let's give both of them credit for turning inwards. And the man who has been turning inwards for so many years, maybe much more credit. But there is nothing in spirituality to be proud of. There is nobody to bandy about this fact that I am enlightened or I am free, I know something. There is nothing like that to be proud of. So what did you do in that? If somebody has this posture that I am enlightened and you are not, you can ask them, what did you do in that? What part did you play in your enlightenment that you are now so proud about that fact? So, whether revelation happens or not, why I am saying this is very important, because in the slightest of spiritual experience, our pride starts jumping up. Yeah? So remember, always in those situations, praise God. Just praise God. Even if you start by not meaning it, praise God. It's infectious. Something inside you will change. Give credit where it's due. Even if it starts off seeming like lip service, and I actually want to show off about my own spiritual accomplishment, if you remember to praise God, then that praise will spread truly in the rest of your soul. The rest of your Antakarna will get filled with that light of praising God. Yeah? So when we say Jai Shri Ram, you see, it's praising God. No? We give glory to God, glory to Ram. So when your mind is really pushing you to take on the limelight for yourself, remember to praise God. Humble yourself, praise God. You see how everything is interlinked? Because all of these things, praise God, doesn't sound very Advaita to us. What does it have to do with self-inquiry? A lot. You see? Because self-inquiry, the real revelation that is meant to happen in self-inquiry cannot happen if you're obsessed with me. If you don't give yourself a break from the me, then how will the Lord introduce Himself to you? What did Gyaneshwarji say? Yes, it sounds like he's talking about me actually. So they keep blabbering and blabbering. When will the compassionate one have the space to meet them or something like that? Maybe God is reminding me to shut up. Okay. So it is not that our life is meaningless. The meaning of our life, the very design of our insides, actually of our outsides also, is to be a meeting ground with God, for God. Our Antakarna is the rendezvous point with God. And the rendezvous is such that we get swallowed up. Whatever we took ourselves to be, if you want to be Advaitically accurate, now whatever we have taken ourselves to be gets swallowed up in that meeting. And whatever little gets spat out is just to serve Him, to love Him, and to share His love and light. The apple is eaten up, the seed is spat out. The seed that remains is meant to just serve God. But remember that the apple can regenerate itself. That's the very black apple. You see, what is that? Snow White, or what is that story? So, where poisonous apple. It's a poison pawn, a poison apple, because that which gets spat out to love and serve God can take on a specialness about itself. An idea of something special because of some so-called enlightenment happening to somebody. All of that is false. But this false ego can be built up on that, and that is called the spiritual ego. And the spiritual ego is the worst sort, because what will you tell the spiritual ego? You go tell, so if you meet someone who is deeply embedded in spiritual ego based on conceptual spiritual knowledge, what will you tell? You say you must do the self-inquiry. What do you think the reaction will be? You are telling me to do the self-inquiry. You should do the self-inquiry. Who is telling who to do the self-inquiry? You see? How to get through to them? So many times the construction mechanism of the false identity can be on overdrive, ironically using the basis of spiritual experience itself. That I am somebodyness can be really strong. Okay, so how many of us know the rendezvous point of revelation? Know the rendezvous point, know the meeting point where revelation of God's presence within our heart can happen. You know where you're supposed to go and wait for Him? Don't know. You see that no again is a confusing word to use. No. So this silence which the sages have spoken about, that holy chamber in our interior castle which the sages have spoken about, the Hridaya that the Indian sages have spoken about, which is the living room for God, where He delights to live. You see? Have you been shown the door to that room or not? You've been shown the door to that room in the form of the tools that have been given in the form of God's name, in self-inquiry, in remaining open and empty. All the tools are there. You see? Now, does that bring us to a stillness? Yes, it will bring us to that stillness. Now, we must learn to abide there. We must learn to remain there. Because there's no way around that point. You see, you can't say, oh, I'm going to California, so I can go this way, or actually I can go that way also, and I can reach. The travel time may be different, but I'll reach. So to reach God, you have to reach God through the Atma. And to meet the Atma, you must go to your heart. You must wait in faith, in love, in patience, in humility at that holy place. You see? Now this waiting, yes.
On the way, on the coming to the door, that we come, like we can see we are in our head, and then we can very well tell we are in our head, and when we switch out and we go to kind of like a place where God watches us constantly, right? And now we are doing activities at home, and where our eyes are not always closed, but we don't feel like we've left the door. So I want to ask you about one is the stillness of like everything, eyes closed and going in, and then there's the mind activity is the activity part, and the stillness part is the snapping out of it also, right? With like conversation. So can you say a bit about that?
So usually what will happen is that you need that focused intention, focused prayer to come to that stillness. then you will find that that stillness percolates the rest of your life, including conversations, including satsang can happen only because of that. So that can percolate the rest of our lives. So that doesn't go. But what is usually found, at least in my case, that if I engage with the world too much and constantly, then I've switched to the mind. You see, then that holiness, that remaining in the heart is gone. So it's very important to keep rejuvenating that, to keep returning to that place, you see, to use the name, to use the inquiry, to use remembrance of God, to keep returning to that holy place, so that our life, outer life, just becomes a expression of that inner light. You see? So then in that way we remain in that stillness. But we should not be very quick to jump into this idea that it doesn't matter to me now whether eyes are open or closed, whether what is happening. I'm not saying generally that many times we can get into this thing that for me now I'm constantly in presence, I don't need to, you see. So it's very, very important to keep returning to this place. And we must not look at it anyway like it's a punishment or something. No? That, oh, must I keep my eyes closed and return there? It's the highest joy. It's the most sweetest existence. You see? So we must, if the mind is already framing that must I keep my eyes closed and have this focused time for God and just be in that inner stillness, you see? Then already in the framing of the question there's a trap. You see? So the question could be, can I not just stay like this always? Can I not just stay inward like this always? Why can I not stay like this always? That question I can understand better. No, it's not nothing to do with your question. We're just sharing on this point all the tricks that the mind can play to take us out. So just know that even if the transformation is not palpable, if the love is not palpable, if the light is not palpable, it is only not palpable because the mind, intellect, our sensory system, all of these outer tools don't have access to that inner transformation which is happening. You see? So there is never a reason to get frustrated in focused prayer, because the waiting at the door, even for a moment, what did Gyaneshwarji say? One moment has given all types of freedom to us which are there. Presence of God, to live in the same place as God, presence of God, getting God, access to God's powers and abilities, and then merging into God Himself in a traditional way of looking at it. He said these are the 4 types of liberation which are available to us.
What is he talking about?
Yeah.
Atma-darshan in that one moment.
Yes.
He's talking
Yes.
about, he's not just talking about waiting or both.
So this is very beautiful. So in that moment, when is that moment? You see? There can never be a time where he says, oh, that moment is done for me. I have had that moment. We can never say. It's an encouragement for this moment to become that moment. You see? For this moment to become that moment. Now remember what we have always spoken in Satsang. In that moment, when we are at the door, God has given Himself fully to us. He has given Himself fully to us. He doesn't know how to hold Himself back. He has given Himself fully to us. But He also knows in His mercy that our capacity to play this out on the outside is very limited. You see? So we may not yet have the words to convey outside. We may not be able to say that this is what I found. This is my reality. You see? But that moment must never be considered to be past tense. And actually never be considered to be future tense also. He says one moment at the door. That is the invitation to come to that door right now for everyone. Maybe the highest sage or maybe just the beginner on the path. But in that moment every gift is given to us. What is revealed on the outside may be different, may be limited. Yeah. How would you know that you've been given the highest gift? You wouldn't know. Like the capacity that we have for understanding mind, intellect wouldn't know. Like I keep saying, it is not invited to this party. You see? So it does not know what the Sufis call marifa. It doesn't know. You see? And what is revealed in the heart many times, or 99.9% of the times, it is ineffable. We don't have the words for it. You see? So how will we actually tell? So then we just have to have faith in the words of the sage, that when God gives himself to us, he is not holding anything back. A moment of coming to his presence gives the highest gifts possible.
And so, Father, Atma Darshan would be what then in comparison to this?
Yes, where it becomes palpable to us that the unveiling घूंघट के पट खोल तुहे पिया मिलेंगे. They said, what is it? Amir Khusro was it? Who said, open the veil and you will find your beloved. You see? So that revelation, that opening of the door, where you find the Atma and you're able to say that I saw that holy light, which is both perceived and unperceived. It is the light of this universe, and yet it is the tiniest speck in my heart. It is there fully, and yet it encompasses the whole universe. See? So this Atma Darshan is a process where revelation, the sweetening of that love, the sweet deepening of that love. You see, now, of course the intellect can make a contradiction there, saying, but at the door itself I was promised everything will be found. So why does the door have to be open? That's why it's called a door. If it didn't open, would it be called a door? That which is closed is called a wall. It's not called a door. If it doesn't open, it's a wall. So it's called a door because it opens. It opens. It's like the mouth of the dragon. It can swallow you up. So all the beautiful gifts, all the samadhis, all the darshan, all the prayers of quiet and union and jubilation, all of these are there at the door and the opening of the door. So the point I was trying to make also is that when we use the term waiting, it can seem like waiting for a bus. But it's not that kind of waiting. So the bus is 20 minutes late, we start getting frustrated. The waiting at the door, even if you waited for 1 trillion lifetimes, would be the highest gift possible. That waiting, imagine like Ramji lived in this house and you could just wait at the door. Is that frustrating?
Father?
Wait at Ramji's door. Suppose you were given the job of a guard at the door, the Dwarpal of Vaikunt. And suppose that as the Dwarpal, as the guard, you could never meet him palpably, but you know he's inside. You know he's inside. Would that be a frustrating experience? How long will I be just a guard at this door? I want to be a courtier in the court, in the darbar I want to be. Not possible. You see, because most of us, like, at the door itself will drown. There's nothing left to judge. If you just keep yourself there with faith for some time, the love there itself will kill you in a good way. In a good way. So there's nothing like Ma Shabri. That's why I keep saying that. Suppose that Ramji actually, that ending which we keep looking at, that part never happened. Ramji never came. He didn't cross that path in the exile. She spent her whole life like that and she left the body. Would it be a wasted life? It would be, 60 years just waiting and then dying. It's the most beautiful life. Most beautiful life. Of course, the cherry on the cake is there that he came, gave her the darshan. I'm not denying that, but it would still be the most beautiful cake. No? Imagine what a life of faith to lead like that. It's not hidden from God's eyes. The door is never closed from His side. Yeah. So the better example is that in Indian temples, you go to the Sanctum Sanctorum. You go to the Sanctum Sanctorum, 99% of them are very dark. Garbhagriha, the Garbhagriha is very dark. So you wait over there. Initially you can't see anything. Like, what's happening? Of course the priests want you to get out very fast, so you haven't seen anything. Priest is saying, go, darshan is done. And you're like, no, wait. But suppose we had access and you could just stay, and there are many temples which are neglected like that with no priest to bother us, so we can go there. So you wait over there, after a few minutes it starts revealing itself, what's there in the Sanctum Sanctorum. Because the scientists will tell you the rods and cones of the eyes. I don't know what we studied in school. Something changes and you're able to see better in the dark. So the door is like that. Just like when we look at the sun, we can't look at the sun. We have to turn away. It's too bright. It's too bright, so we feel like we can't. So what's the one who lives in our heart? Imagine, he's the birthing father of a trillion suns like that. Our sun anyway in the universe is one of the smaller ones. So imagine that one who lives in our heart. So slowly, mostly slowly, our capacity to meet Him grows. The love in our heart, the humility, the faith, the patience, all of these virtues that He gifts to us by us staying there in His presence, they grow, and more then we come to that supernatural, I hope to find a better word for that, but the supernatural darshan of the Atma within. Like, whose light are we seeing? Whose light are we seeing? So, can we even fathom, because we speak about these things so regularly now, is the Atma Gyan Kendra and Atma something and Atma something else. You see, everything we can put the word Atma, so we become so jaded, normalized, regularized the idea, but so we don't even shudder once when we say God's presence is there. Where is God's presence? Oh, it's in my heart, but my life is a bit of a mess. You can't say those things together. God, His presence is there. Atma Darshan is to meet the light of His presence. But what has happened is very common these days. People will say, yeah, I came to the I am 15 years ago, and then I had some glimpses of awareness also, but I don't know, it doesn't stay, it's because we've taken all the awe out of it, we've taken the wonder out of it. I went to Niagara Falls, and then I went to see Taj Mahal, and but it doesn't stay. What are we talking about? God's presence. Who is God? There's a Marathi abhang, Man nahi bhag nahi na. So it says, God is not some vegetables and fruits in the market. Talking about God in such trivial ways. So we need to have that devotion, that love in our heart, that remembrance of that awe about Him. How will we have awe for God? We can't have awe for God. We are too caught up in ourselves. We are in awe of ourselves, not the true self. We are so much in awe of ourselves, obsessed. No? You see? And please don't take, like I'm saying like this, these are words that are coming from my heart, but remember that they apply to this fool more than anyone else. That I have to give this expression because that's how it's flowing from the heart. So because we are so much obsessed in awe of this one, where is the space for wonder and awe about God? We are taught as children God is everywhere. You see? I don't know actually whether that's a good thing, because then maybe we start normalizing it then only. Suppose it came as a revelation. Where God is, He's everywhere. It's presented like that. Then maybe we have some awe, some wonder about that. We can talk a lot of concepts about the I am, but in forgetting that this I am is the presence of God Himself. So one is the forgetting of the term, the presence of God. Second is the forgetting of when we say God, who is it that we are talking about? Is it? So one very bad example is coming to me, and may the Lord forgive me for this. But suppose we said, uh, "Oh, Pope, can you come here?" Yeah. So everybody will say, "But that's so disrespectful," or like the Shankaracharya. Where is it? How?
I don't know, she said she's waiting. So I said I'll go and tell her.
I'll call her. So suppose we said, "You, Shankaracharya, come." You see, everybody will say, "Have some respect, you know. Have some. Who are you calling?" You see. So but we are so trivial with God. Oh yeah, God presence is I am. I know I am. God's presence is here. He who, the holiest of holy ones, would have to be a gazillion times to come to 0.1% of His glory. We have just normalized all that. Ramji is here. If Ramji is here, then where is that joy? Where is that wonder? Where is that amazement? How are we living?
Father, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm a bit on fire. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's Mira, I think she asked this question about Atma Darshan, and you quoted from some sages. I just feel to say I really want to meet you in your words in a way. Um, Thank
Sorry, just give me
you.
one moment.
Yes.
My daughter is asking for something urgently in Singapore. I'll
Yes,
just pause
please.
my.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm done. Sorry, Karunamai, can you repeat what you said?
Thank you, Father. I said, since Mira asked this question, what is Atma Darshan? And I think initially you referred to a quote from a sage. I don't remember. But I was on fire to meet you in these words.
Yeah.
And I just,
Thank you.
I just wanted to express this and maybe to, yeah, just to. And when you paused to call your daughter, I didn't feel you paused at all.
Thank you. Sweet. Thank you. Bless you. Bless you. Okay. So, I feel over and over, more and more, to remind all of us that our spiritual lives are much more full of wonder and awe than our capacity to understand. And the more we leave our mind behind, the more you will meet that joy, that wonder, that amazement. And it is in faith that you see that God is here. It is in faith that you see that God is here. So God is offering us what? He's offering us His life. He's offering us His kingdom, His presence in the form of His kingdom. And we are exchanging that for what? We would rather have an ant's breakfast. Isn't it? What do we want? He is saying, take, my life is yours. We are saying, no, no, can I have some money instead? Because we are driven by only our mental capacity to understand. So His presence has become normalized. We use very scientific sounding words to express Him. And what it means to lead a spiritual life has been forgotten. One sentence should have been enough. No? Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you. Is there ever a reason after that to grasp on the outside? All the sages have told us that the Atma is within our heart. What are we searching for? Where are we looking? What do we want? So I know this somehow, I don't know how it happens, but this satsang, last satsang, both have been a bit coming out in a strong way. But let it not be that our lives are just like this, you know. That you come, get fired up in satsang, then satsang is over and you're back to the mundane, forgetting God and forgetting that His presence is within you. And then you come back to satsang and then some firing up. You keep that fire going. Use God's name, use the inquiry to keep that fire going. What does it mean that the kingdom of heaven is within us? What does it mean? That the highest expressions of the Lord the one Saguna and the one Nirguna, they live where? Within us. Because they could not leave heaven. They can't leave. Huh? Heaven is for us to live in our minds. We also can't leave actually, but in our minds we can. So, if that is within us, if Ram, Krishna, Jesus, Allah are within us, what are we shopping for on the outside? He wants us to play a part in His life as the Lord of the universe. I like the term that just came out of this mouth, which is, and we are chasing an ant's breakfast. Is it? Because that leap of faith has to happen. If that leap of faith doesn't happen, we will only be concerned about what this one said to me, what this one told me, how she looked at me, how he said like that, all this rubbish, keeping us away from Vaikuntha. How brittle is our spirituality? Please contemplate this question. How brittle is your spirituality? What is the provocation it needs for you to leave the Atma? You have the pathway to heaven. You have the pathway to heaven. What is the provocation needed to get you off this pathway? The slightest whistle from the side of the road, no, you will go with that. One rude word or one even generous word. Right? We feel insulted immediately, we feel prideful immediately. How to leave this? How do we leave this so easily? Because Maya convinces us that our reality is this body-mind. And that is why the sages over and over have reminded us, don't waste this opportunity. Don't waste the opportunity of this life. And now that you have come to satsang of any sort, of a pathway to God, don't waste that opportunity specially. It is said, I don't know anything about these things, it is said that human birth is very rare. But there are how many of us now? 7 billion? Which is a number which is incomprehensible. So, the rare 7 billion one among us, in the rare 7 billion, how many are really, how many have turned to God? So already rarity and then the rarity. Imagine the odds. If 7 billion is a rarity, then within that maybe a few, maybe let's say 100,000. Let's say if you're being generous, maybe 500,000. truly turn to God? 500,000. Don't waste this opportunity. Because what has been promised to us by God Himself is much, much more than you could gather up, and if you had all the joy of a million lifetimes put together, living in God's presence in His home, one moment of that would be more than that. So when you exchange the moment and you switch from God to Maya, know that that is what you're exchanging. It is not the way that it seems. Because the way that it seems is, oh, I have a life of 100 years. In the 100 years, if I spend my last few moments with God, that should be enough. But you will not spend the last few moments with God if you've not spent your whole life turning towards Him. Now, the exchange would seem scary if God had said, no, you have to just, if you're in a family, leave your family. If you're in a job, you must leave your job. If you're in a body, you must leave the body. He had made all these conditions. But God has made no condition. He said, come as you are. Isn't it? There are sages who lived in caves, there are sages who are householders, there are sages of all colors and varieties. He has not discriminated based on anything at all. The possibility to be with Him and to live with Him is universal. Humans have divided ourselves and oppressed each other and fought each other forever. He has never divided. In the name of Him, we have divided. We have killed brothers and sisters in His name. So just, I can't even call it stupid. But He has not closed His door for anyone. Yet every day we slam the door on Him. I do that hundreds of times every day. And I'm pretty certain all of us do as well. In exchange for what? In Maya, what is so great that you got out of this day? It will survive our death. Will it survive even our sleep state? So Gyaneshwarji asked in a very simple way this question. What are you doing? You're constantly doing this outer seeming work. Why don't you worship Him? It is not an exchange. You see? It is that when we worship Him, He will take care of everything that is needed in our lives. Everything that is needed. What are we doing? We have boarded the train and we are pushing the train from the inside. Isn't it? Let me make this train go faster. God is driving the train, don't have to worry. And Bhagavan said, You boarded the train, but you're carrying the bags on your head in the train. So many examples. You boarded the train, but you are running inside the train to go get there faster. This life was given to us by Him. It can be run by Him also. But we can run it into the ground. He has given us that choice. We can run it with our absence of love, with our lack of love. With our grasping for the me. We can create a living hell out of this life. You see? So the hell, if there is one, will be our creation. Heaven is godly. Hell is when we live here. So really the question was, how brittle is our spirituality? How brittle is our love for God? On a scale of 1 to 100, how much provocation is needed for you to turn away from God? May I, you call me father, so may I hazard a guess? I would say less than 1. Less than 1 on 100. The slightest tinge, ting, gone. God is forgotten. Me is bad. And I'm not saying I am at 100. I'm saying I am maybe at 0.00001, wherever. But it's easier to spot on the outside. So, how brittle is our spirituality? How brittle is our love for God? If our love for God was strong, we would not forget Him. No? You took this is the example from 14 years ago, you took an auto, now the medium has changed. It's no longer the meter, but your phone said the charges are 78 rupees. The auto guy says it will be 105 rupees, please. What happened? God, heaven within us, love, peace, joy, for 28 rupees or something, forgotten, no? Gone. You see? Somebody comes to fit the geyser in your house. Yeah? You were promised it will be 500 rupees. This one says, no, madam or sir, actually 200 rupees more it will be because of XYZ, 700. Forgotten God? The play of Maya, like Maya is not even having to play. Like Maya is just sitting there. We are jumping into traps. You see? So Kabirji said Maya is the greatest con artist. What great cons is she pulling in our life? No, the most regular ones. They're like April Fool's Day pranks and we are falling for them again and again. You see? So let's hold on more strongly to His love. Maybe not get so fearful about the smallest of things. All of us have this opportunity to live like saints, to be saints. And if there's some part of our pride which would love that, to be called saint, whatever, that's not what I'm talking about. So who is a saint? A saint is one who lives with God. All of us have the possibility to live with God. And remember that the saints were not different from us. They were given the same situations in life. They just had that little bit more of what, I don't know, little bit more where they were able to make that choice to stay with God instead of getting provoked out of it for the smallest reason. The little things. So that's why I love Saint Therese of Lisieux, because she said just the little things. Can we exchange that one moment with love? That one. Tomorrow start with one, then make it two, then make it three. There are 100 opportunities every day. That's all that's needed. Thank you. Really, I enjoyed the interactive satsang today. So many questions. And I rambled on for 3 hours already.
I said it is interactive because something is happening inside the heart and I'm going through that. Interesting.
Do you feel like Atma Darshan is possible for you? Or you've already discounted it somewhere? You see, that may be the key thing. I want to tell you that it is not only possible, it is very, very, very possible. It is God has made himself universally available. Please don't get into any trap about, oh, it's very difficult, it's very rare, then this fool would not be sitting in front of you. You see? How many, I really sincerely want to ask this question. Possible for you? No. Huh? Huh? Yes, you can't. Yes, you can't. I'm not at all saying you can. So the whole first part of satsang was how it is a revelation. I am asking whether we feel like the revelation can be given to us. It's very good actually you said this, because it is not a question of our personal capacity at all. Everyone has the capacity to turn inward. You see? So, do we feel like we can turn inwards and stay there with patience, faith, humility, love? Yes, very good. All of us can do that. And I feel deeply, 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 I'm nobody to put words in God's mouth, but I feel deeply that if that is how we spend our lives, He will grace us with Atma Darshan. And not just with a fleeting glimpse of the Atma, but as a living presence here that you can build your life around. Yes? Yes or no? You see, because the mind will come and say, but I am not worthy. It is not for me. And in Indian spirituality, we have hundreds of stories where the most seemingly unworthy ones in our minds have been given this gift. And their lives went in much worse ways than ours. You see? That is why I feel it's always important to say tomorrow will be too late, but today is not, no matter what your history is. But we must turn the center of gravity towards Him. Our life must gravitate around Him instead of me. The central character in our story has to be replaced. And how to replace, stay in constant remembrance, using the name, or use the self-inquiry to come to the truth of who you are. Remove all duality from your life, or the only duality you keep is God's greatness and our littleness. That is the spiritual path, basically. Two wings of the same bird. Say. No. Don't allow Maya's provocations in your life to put me back in the center of the frame. Keep the me as the side character, if at all.
Father,
Yeah.
I asked you for a chop off last time and I didn't use it properly, or I didn't take it, and I just want to expose this. Just because you said how brittle is your earnestness or whatever. I
No, how brittle is our love for God?
My love and my dedication and my commitment and my everything is just, and I also recognize this. Um, you gave this rickshaw driver example.
Yeah.
I see how easy you may think you're in your rights to, yeah, to, I don't know, to say you didn't bring my glasses in my restaurant for 10 minutes and
Say this
get.
part. What is the restaurant?
I went to a restaurant which is run by a Sangha friend, or
Yes.
by a Sangha brother,
Yeah.
and the team there is also Sangha, and we were hungry. And after, I don't know, 20 minutes, we had a bottle of water but no glasses, and
Yeah.
Anna was hungry. She didn't have breakfast, and at some point in time, and we didn't even know what we are going to eat and if we are going to eat. So I
Yeah.
kind of, at some point in time, yeah, it kind of stirred me up, and I asked for glasses, and I said we waited for 10 minutes. And this stirred up a whole thing from the Sangha. And
Yeah.
I could see, like, in the day I got involved, and then but I realized it was my reflection yesterday on, you had the quote saying, how, how did you realize God so that you have time to be angry and frustrated and whatever? And I realized how stupid you can give your away
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
your time,
Yes.
just for little things, and how often,
Yes.
and also how unforgiving I can be. Um,
We the only way, if we are going to make any difference, you see, is when we spot something, we have to love the hell out of it. You see, hell will not be fought with
Sorry, I
hatred.
think I.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hell will not be fought with hatred, anger, resentment, grievances. Hell will not, it will only grow. We have to love the hell out of it.
I feel the truth in what you're saying because for a long time I fought it. Like I see this anger and I try to fight it, and the
Yeah.
more I fight it, the more it grows.
Yes. How many
Uh,
bottles of petrol will put out the fire?
Yeah,
Easy. So we add anger, we add hatred, we add resentment to the situation. That is not
yeah,
going to, that is only going to fester it more and more. We
uh,
have to love the hell out of it. And this love is felt. This love is felt.
yeah,
And that is the only mode of healing that we know.
yeah. To love even the smallness of me.
Yeah. So you say, for example, you say, I want you to chop my head off. Some of you say that. You say it
Yeah,
because you know that there is love. You would not say that to everyone. You see, you're allowed. What does it mean? Say whatever harsh thing you want to say to me because I know it will be for my good so that my ego cannot fester. That is
yeah,
the expansion of chop my head off. Be as strong as you like, which is beautiful permission, but I don't want to ever use that permission because I know that there's a great capacity here to get into pride. So let me always be patient and loving and humble in my expression with all of you. Uh, but that permission is much appreciated because that means you recognize that what is coming from here is coming from love and it's only attempting to heal.
Father, I also feel if I ask for a chop off with all your patience and love, the chop off is going to come.
Is going to come.
Like if, even if because I felt it actually, like I was asleep and I would wake up in the middle of the night and I could feel my mind sinking in a way. I don't know if this experience is true or not, but that was my intuition of it. So I feel even if you're the kindest, if I beg you for a chop off, somehow I think energetically or at a higher level, I really.
I know nothing about these things, higher level things, but I feel like the chop which came from here was just to take your medicine. That's all.
Yeah. And if I can expose, like during your satsang today, I feel there is a tendency which is also toward Anna. Thank you. It's also towards myself. Like when you speak high, I I rejuvenate in it or something like. And when you speak about the mind, I see, oh, I don't like this talk about the mind. Like there is an adversity in me towards my own
Yeah,
mind,
yeah,
which I can
yeah,
see. Uh, yeah,
yeah. And the duality of higher and lower is also mental.
yeah,
No, no,
yeah,
not that. Yeah.
yes.
No, no.
The
Wait, wait.
preference for something.
No, no, no. I feel like it is really, we should explore this thing, no? That everyone who is on whatever path feel their path is the highest. Yeah? Anyone in the world who's following any path and says to you, I am on the lowest path. You see? So it is again our pride which puts us in this place. No? Just like everyone feels like oh, I'm better off than at least half my brothers and sisters in the Sangha. This is all pride. The pathways to God are not designed to be high or low. This is this is not good. It's not good to
Thank you. Yeah, I take this.
as the job. But this is yeah. This we must really look at this capacity in us. May this path that is offered through this mouth be the lowest path to God. I don't want to ever say that ours is the highest path to God.
Yeah.
Something still has an aversion to being called the lowest. So may it be the
Father, it
lowest
was
path to
not,
God
yeah.
till it still pokes somewhere.
My resistance was not towards the path itself, was more like hearing your words. Like if you speak about Atma Darshan, oh, this is good for me. If you, yeah, and if you speak about, um,
About how we must give a smile to someone you on the street, then it's very
yeah, or forgive,
low level
yeah,
business.
or yeah, or you're doing so many mistakes a day and things
Yes,
like that. I'm
yes,
like, oh,
yeah.
so
So I hope we can. This is exactly. By the way, this was exactly what I was talking about.
yeah, yeah, I just wanted to defend myself, not to think
No, no,
that
no.
I
I'm saying this is exactly
say
what I'm
something
talking
about
about.
the path.
It's exactly
See,
what I'm talking about. That how do we know that one moment of self inquiry will be higher than that one moment when we smiled at somebody on the street?
yeah, thank you. I'm very happy I speak. There was also some resistance to talk, but
No,
I
I'm very
see,
happy. I'm very happy you said this part because it is a, it is, there is a propensity in this, in this mode, this propensity to just feel like, oh no, but when we speak about big, big things, then that is the highest path. But when we just talk about simple humility and acts of kindness, that's just moral science or something.
yeah,
It's very good to
yeah.
notice this duality, which is very prevalent in non-duality circles.
eh,
This
Um,
duality is very present in non-duality. What pleases God in our heart is the highest path, and that we cannot predetermine. That is only moment to moment. See, when that is the meaning of living in God's will, if I am going to determine high and low for myself, then what does it mean to live in God's will? And I'm glad
yeah,
you're speaking like this because there are many Sangha children who are going through this stuff. Who are just like, oh, it has changed, it used to be very high and pure earlier. So definitely I'm regressing, no? I'm just regressing over the years by God's grace. He's just, he started me off very high and now I'm just lower and lower and lower. So this
I
is,
also remember that you said we don't really know what, like we, like myself, I don't really know what happens in satsang, and I should keep stay put. And there was not much more openness to what you are sharing, wh- rather than be defensive or pro or um,
so if I can somehow, in today's conversation with all of us, squeeze out this notion of highest and lowest pathways to God.
yeah.
There was a farmer. Now, you will find this a very low story, but I love this story. So, there was this farmer. There
I'll
was this
make
farmer.
note of it then.
So there was this farmer who lived around Pandharpur, where Lord Vithala is. So uh, he had so much work in his field that he couldn't take a day off and visit the temple. But he would just cry in his fields, and that was his prayer. He would just cry, saying, "How can I meet you? Why can't I meet you? When will you meet me?" That was all that he did. You see? And Lord himself left the temple and went and met him. So till this day, one day there is no darshan in Pandharpur temple because Lord Vithala goes and meets the farmer. Now in our high Advaitic mind, this is a nonsense story. I mean, what is? It's all rubbish. You see? But those who live with God's love and faith in their heart, this is a very inspiring tale. History, let's not even call it story. So if this is my regression, I'm very happy to be regressing.
I'm regressing with you, Father, in this.
Very good.
Okay, I
I'm not at all.
just,
I'm not at all upset with what you're saying. I'm very happy
I
to have this
know.
opportunity to share my heart in this way, because our mind has made us very rigid and these things, and I'm also guilty of that. Maybe in the first many years of satsang, I would have also called what I was saying the highest path and things like that, or at least the most direct path or some rubbish like that. So there is nothing like that. God,
And
because the path is so revelatory in nature, and God has
yeah,
not made a guideline of entry saying, oh, now Advaitins will be first in the queue, Dvaitins will be second in the queue, farmers will be last in the queue. He has not made any criteria like that. So, this whole mistake of what I do, you see, what I do is the
yeah,
primary condition on which the revelation of the Atma will happen, is a mistake. A farmer turns to God with his tears, and Advaitin turns to God with this question: which is the higher
yeah,
turning? We are nobody to say.
yeah. I may I expose something else as well?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Because I have this privilege of following two masters, yourself and Guruji. I also see this confusion of the mind at times.
It's very
And
Dvaita of you.
what is it?
It's not. It's very Dvaita, not Advaita of you.
Yeah, I know. I'm very guilty, Father, and sometimes I feel this guilt and shame. And but I
Oh,
also
really?
feel it. I also feel it's stupidity, and I also feel the toll that it,
No. Is what is the following stupidity, or is the guilt and shame stupidity?
the guilt and the shame, and the
Yes.
toll that it,
Thank you.
and the toll as in like the weight or the charge or whatever, the detriment on my own heart. And I just, oh, when you said that we believe I am the body and shapes, I I just want to offer
One.
these ideas fully with all my heart and beyond all my heart.
Sorry, just one moment.
Yes, Father.
It's okay if he comes on the Zoom.
Yeah, it's okay. No problem.
Come on, meet my grandson.
Hey, hello. Hey, sweetie. That's so sweet. These the guys that got married a couple of years
Happy.
ago when I was in Bangalore and I had some
Yeah.
wedding cake. So sweet.
Wedding? No,
Congratulations.
no, not. Couple of years ago, no.
Just born.
Very sweet. Congratulations. No.
Gopala is not going with? He's good, he's very good.
Come soon, Sanjay.
Ah,
So seeing the innocence of a child brings you to the heart, and the heart is where we can get his darshan. Is that a high path or a low path? We should just take this kind of
the
thing
highest,
and
Father.
just but the what I'm saying, just
Good.
we have to throw this out somewhere.
Yeah. Can I share one experience?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I was Anna Anna's father came to pick her up to take her to Romania last year at some point in time, and I was helping them to check in at the airport in a very busy, crowded situation because it was a low-cost area.
Yeah.
So I said to George, I'm going to check if there is a disability like office or something where you guys can check with priority. So I went and I asked this man, there was a priority queue, and I asked a gentleman, hey, can I please ask the officer if I can check in with a disabled person? And the gentleman looked at me and saw Anna also, and he said, oh, ma'am, this is the right office and you're the next. And I said, no, no, I just want to check. And he said, no, no, ma'am, you're next. He was very convincing. And he said, there was a wheelchair person before you, and she just checked in. So this is your line, and you're in front. So I brought these guys, George and Dana, in front after checking. And I was so touched by the love in this man. Uh, I didn't know him. He most likely didn't have any spiritual experience. Or, but I was so touched. And I thought I closed my eyes in that moment and I blessed him and I blessed those that were standing in the queue. And that took maybe 10 minutes more just to allow Anna to check in. And when I did that, just everything vanished in this light. And that was probably my first experience of this kind.
Very good, very good.
Yeah. And I want also to, because when some other experiences came, there was this fear that maybe I take over energies or something. And I just want to offer this fear up and seek God's grace not to block anything, I guess, with my limited capacity for understanding. Thank you. Ah, and there is this prayer in my heart that I can share with Guruji without any pretense or just in simple way, maybe. Yeah, this is a lot. I don't know. There is a bit of tightness in. Yeah. So I just, if healing has to happen, I pray for that. If something else happens, I'm also grateful. Oh, and if I may have faith to see Guru in all,
Can we sing some bhajan? Somebody has learned some abhang. What is it? Which is?
glory to God, Father, and thank you. I am here with you. Thank you.
देवाची ये द्वारी उभे देवाची ये द्वारी उभे क्षण भरी तेले मुक्ती चारी साधी येल्या हरी मुखे म्हणा पुण्याची गणना कोण करी असोनी संसारी जिव्हे वेगू करी वेदशास्त्रच्या उभारी बाह्या सदा हरिमुखे म्हणा पुण्याची गणना कोण करी ज्ञानदेवा म्हणे व्यासांची अखुणा द्वारकेच्या राणा पांडवा खरी हरिमुखे म्हणा पुण्याची गणना कोण करी. Only the first four lines. देवाची ये द्वारी उभे क्षण भरी तेने मुक्तिचारी साधी येल्या, which means if you stand at the door of the Lord, Deva is Lord, देवाची ये द्वारी, the four stages of liberation are achieved or met. देवाची ये द्वारी उभे क्षण भरी. For a moment, if you stand at the door of the Lord, all four stages of liberation are complete or are met. Then is Harimukhe Mana Punyachi Ganana Kona Kari. Hari Mukhe Mana is keep saying the name of the Lord. Keep taking the name of Hari. Keep taking the name of Hari. Punyachi Ganana Kon Kari. How can you even measure the merit of this, which is taking the name of the Lord? Asoni Samsari Jivhe Vegu Kari. Veda Shastra Ubhari Bahya Sada. So the first line is Asoni Samsari. Jivhe is tongue. So keep the name of the Lord on your tongue, even when you're doing your worldly duties. asoni samsari. When you're doing sansar, the worldly work, daily activities, keep the name of the Lord on your tongue. Veda Shastra Ubhari Bahya Sada, which means the Vedas and the Shastras talk, have all talked about it, about the have raised this up, yeah, have talked about the how important this taking the name of the Lord is, and keeping the name of the Lord on your tongue. And the last line is Jnanadeva Mane Vyasanchiya Khuna Dwarakecha Rana Pandava Ghari. So Jnanadev says, Jnanadev ji says that Vyasanchiya Khuna, Vyasji also says this, and Dwarakecha Rana, which is Dwarka's king, is Lord Krishna. Dwarka, the most beautiful father, yeah.
The one who had the most beautiful palace preferred to live in the humble
Of the common.
devotees'
That that Dwarka's king, who owned the most beautiful palace, chose to come and live with a common man, Lord Krishna. Dwarkadish chose to come and live with the Pandavas, who were common people, or like.
who were in the Adhyatwas. They were in hiding. So they lived in the most humble thing, and yet Krishna would come and spend time.
So the Pandavas were in Agyatwas, where they were in the forest, living a very humble, simple life, and the Lord chose to come and stay with them. So it talks about the humility and the first. This is the first abhang of Hari part, which talks about the importance of Hari Nam, name of the Lord, and how important it is, and also talks about humility, and that Lord can come and reside. Lord does come and reside when we take His name.